Once upon a time in a faraway land, there was a magical can that grew amazing plants. And the most wonderful thing about these plants was that each one sang a different melody. She would walk through her garden and listen to the sweet tunes as she strolled along. One day, though, something terrible happened. A thorny black vine crept into the garden and wrapped itself around the plants, stealing their songs and turning the whole place silent. The little girl was so sad to see her beloved plants drooping and listless without their music. She didn't know what to do until an old woman appeared before her and shared a secret. The old woman told the girl that the only way to bring the songs back was to water the plants with moonlight. But how could she do that? You'll find out in a minute. The girl was determined to save her garden, so she did everything the old woman told her to do. And you won't believe what happened next. The girl skipped through the tall grass, her white sandals flashing in the sun like two bright stars. Her long flowing hair was adorned with flowers, and her blue dress was the color of a summer sky. She looked as carefree and happy as the birds that sang in the trees. But there was something missing from the scene, a certain silence that didn't seem to fit. Where were the sweet melodies that had become the background music of her life? What had happened to the garden's songs? The girl stopped under a large oak tree and looked around. She noticed that all the plants were wilting and their leaves were falling off. The once vibrant colors had faded to gray, and the sweet smells had turned into a stale, unpleasant odor. It was as if someone had sucked all the joy out of the world. And that's when she saw them, the roses. They were the worst hit of all. Their petals drooped like teardrops, and their stems were thin and dry. The girl felt a pang of sadness in her chest. She loved those roses. She would spend hours just watching them open and close their petals as the sun rose and set. The girl knelt beside the roses and gently touched a leaf. As she did, she heard a faint whisper. "Water us with moonlight," it said, "and we will sing for you again." The girl jumped up in surprise. Had she imagined it? Was it really the plant talking to her? Before she could decide what to make of the talking plant, another voice cut through the air. The girl whirled around to see where the voice came from and saw a thorny black vine slithering towards her. It had sharp teeth and glowing red eyes, and its presence sent shivers down her spine. The girl stood up and took a step back. "What have you done with my garden?" she asked, her voice trembling. The vine stopped and coiled itself around a nearby tree. "I've taken what was mine by birthright, the songs of the garden," it hissed. "And no one, not even you, can stop me." Then it struck. With lightning speed, the vine lunged at the girl, but she dodged out of the way and ran as fast as she could. She ran past the oak tree and over a small bridge, all the while keeping an eye on the vine. It was fast, too fast for her to outrun it. The girl knew she had to think of a plan quickly. She couldn't let the vine destroy her garden and steal its songs. But what could she do? She was just a little girl. As she ran, the girl's eyes fell on a small cottage in the distance. Taking a deep breath, she picked up her pace and soon reached the cottage. She burst through the door and found herself in a dark, dusty room. There wasn't much to see, just some old furniture and a rickety table in the corner. But then she noticed a window. It was small and covered with cobwebs, but a faint glow shone through the gaps in the boards. Hope surged through the girl. Maybe she could use the window to escape the vine. She pushed aside the cobwebs and climbed onto the table. From there, she could see the garden. The vine was still searching for her, its red eyes gleaming in the darkness. The girl held her breath and waited for it to pass. Finally, it slithered away, disappearing into the shadows. The girl looked around. The garden was darker now, the moon high in the sky. She knew exactly what she had to do. She had to water the plants with moonlight to bring their songs back. But how could she do that? She was just a little girl. That's when she remembered what the old woman had told her. She needed a vessel to collect the moonlight and water the plants. But what kind of vessel? Then she saw it. A small silver bucket hidden behind a bush. It was just big enough for her to carry. The girl smiled. Maybe she really could save her garden after all. She filled the bucket with moonlight and watered the first plant she came across. It was a sunflower, tall and proud with golden petals that reached for the sky. As the moonlight touched its leaves, the sunflower perked up and began to sing. Its song was sweet and cheerful, just like the sunflower itself. The girl skipped to the next plant, a delicate fern with fronds that unfurled like a dancer's skirt. As the moonlight watered it, the fern's leaves turned a beautiful shade of green, and its spores floated through the air like tiny musical notes. Each plant the girl watered came back to life and sang its unique song. The garden was alive with music again, but the girl knew there was still work to be done. The thorny vine had stolen the songs for its own nefarious purposes, and she wouldn't rest until every plant in the garden was singing again. As the moon climbed higher in the sky, the girl continued her work. She watered the trees, bushes, and flowers, each one adding its melody to the growing chorus. The garden was becoming a sea of sound, a symphony of nature's music. Then suddenly, a cold wind swept through the garden, causing the plants to shiver and their songs to falter. The girl looked up to see the thorny vine slithering closer. It was here to get the songs back. The girl stood her ground. She knew the power of the moonlight, and she wasn't going to let the vine take it away. The wind grew stronger, almost knocking the girl over, but she held on tight to the bucket. The vine was almost upon her now, its red eyes burning with anger. "Give me back my songs!" it hissed, but the girl didn't answer. The vine recoiled in surprise. It had never been splashed with water before. It hated it, and as the moonlight touched its leaves, the vine began to wither. Its thorns turned brown and shriveled, and its stem became weak and thin. The girl kept splashing the vine with moonlight until it was completely dried up. Then she watered the nearby plants, and their songs grew louder. The entire garden was now singing at the top of its lungs, drowning out the vine's angry screams. The vine writhed on the ground, unable to bear the beautiful music. It tried to crawl away, but it was too late. The moonlight had made it weak, and it couldn't move anymore. With a final sigh, the vine went limp. And as the first rays of sunlight touched the horizon, she knew that her adventure was just beginning. She put on her favorite floral sundress, a beautiful white dress with pink roses all over it. And she wore a necklace that looked like the sun, its rays made of sparkling gold. The girl twirled around, feeling like a princess in her very own fairy tale. The garden was alive with the music of its plants, and the girl was a part of it. She danced among the flowers, her laughter echoing through the trees. And as the sun climbed higher in the sky, she knew that her day would be filled with joy and wonder. After all, she was the little girl who had saved the garden and its songs. And that's a pretty special thing to be. If you liked this story, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss out on any of our future adventures. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.